She's fierce, working.
Stand by Kim. Go Kim.
You can't imagine this, that it would ever happen. So like, maybe a husband says to his wife, hey, honey, what's for dinner? And she's like, oh, I'm not really sure because I have to go to a meeting tonight. I have a Zoom call tonight. And then the husband says, hey, no worries. I'll just print out some chicken nuggets for the kids. That's right. KFC has partnered with a Russian bioprinting company, and they are going to bring to our homes 3D printed chicken nuggets right to the table. They're calling it the meat of the future, and the lab-created chicken meat is KFC's response, they say, to the growing interest of healthy lifestyles. I mean, words that you never thought would be in one sentence. Lab-created chicken, healthy lifestyles, and KFC. I mean, what's next? Is it the mashed potatoes? Is it the biscuits? Is it the corn on the menu? Let's just blame the Colonel. And you see, ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls of all ages, just an example of all the fun that we have here week after week as we talk about living the best digital life ever. You can find us on 400 top stations from coast to coast and around the globe on American Forces Network Radio. That's 375,000 American servicemen and women in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. And we thank each and every one of you. And it's called the Kim Komando Show because, after all, I am still America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again.
We're not worthy.
You're probably not worthy, but I am so glad that you're here. And I'm sure that you have at least a few questions about something digital I can lend a hand to. How to build your business. What's SEO? Maybe it's the right thing to buy for whatever you're trying to accomplish. Or maybe you're just having some digital dilemmas. Well, our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is now open for you at 1-888-825-5254. All right, let's get started with 5 things that you need to know to stay up to date in this whole digital life that we have. And this week, we're going to start with, who's hacking the hackers? What's going on? I don't know if you heard about this, but U.S. federal prosecutors, they charged 3 North Korean programmers with crimes connected to all different kinds of cyber attacks around the world. They say that these attacks resulted in over $1 billion in losses. So the Justice Department say that over the past few years, this group working for North Korean military intelligence, they targeted U.S. government agencies and corporations with these spear phishing campaigns. They also helped create the ransomware that just totally demolished Britain's National Health Service. And then, allegedly, they hacked into banks across the world. They targeted users to steal their cryptocurrency. Now, it seems that the primary motive of these attacks was profit, but also could have been revenge. Do you remember that Sony Pictures hack a little over 6 years ago? The guys are apparently in on that too. The retaliation of the movie called The Interview. You remember that? I tried to watch it. I thought it was horrible. It mocked North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Well, the character was assassinated in the movie, and Kim Jong-un hated the movie, but did anybody actually really watch it? I don't know if you remember. It starred James Franco and Seth Rogen. It hit 51% on the tomato meter and 48% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, really, it could have been perfectly executed. Number 2, Google's taken a new partner to their dance. But first, got to take a walkabout to Australia, where a new proposed law would require tech companies to pay publishers for content. So, Facebook would have to pay publishers whatever value is generated when a story is posted to its platform. Facebook, they're not really too keen on the idea because that means they're going to have to spend some money. And on Thursday, they made what was that decision that they came up with? So Facebook users in Australia, they cannot share news stories, and worldwide, users cannot share stories from Australian publishers. So if you think about it, Facebook basically unfriended the entire country. So Google took a different approach. They announced a 3-year deal with a major media company, News Corp. You've heard of them. They're going to be paying, who knows, countless millions of dollars to feature stories in Google News from publications like the Wall Street Journal, MarketWatch, the New York Post, and some sites from Australia, like the Australian, and big names like Sky News. So all of this is happening, and it's well, Kim, what does this mean to me? Well, publishers have long demanded compensation for their news articles and stories that rake in advertising dollars for Google. I mean, because you think about it, they just post the links on these sites, and then they sell the ads all around it, and they track what you click on. And now it's being looked on by regulators worldwide. So Australia's proposed law could set this precedent that goes way beyond just Australia. And so Google's kind of getting ahead of the game. They're going to say, okay, well, we're going to start paying for this. So Zuckerberg and the company, they're just feeling really like big and powerful by unfriending Australia. It could blow up in their collective Facebooks when it results in more restrictive laws being passed. So if that happens here in the United States, your news, your Facebook feed, it could look a lot differently. And then maybe somebody's going to Facebook's and say, wow, if we have to pay for this, maybe the user has to pay for it. As for Australia, they just need to move on from Facebook and find their news from a different land down under. Number 3, is that a real 5-star review? Is that what's really going on? Amazon is dealing with all kinds of misinformation. I'm talking about shady sellers have 100% fake reviews. I was looking at a selfie light last week, and there were a dozen glowing reviews posted on one day. Okay, this is totally fake. So a site in the UK called Which wanted to answer the question, can you really trust Amazon reviews? And listen to this. They found that merchants can spend about $800 for 50 reviews from a company that boasts 62,000 reviewers around the world. Okay. Amazon sellers can also purchase valid email addresses for about 40,000 potential reviewers. On Amazon, positive reviews can make or break the product. Now, despite raking in $125 billion, wow, in the last quarter of 2020, Amazon says, we can't police reviews, in their words, all alone. No, we can't do that. So on Amazon, buyer beware. I was shopping for a new whiteboard the other day, too, and the reviews I saw just had to be fake. I mean, everybody said it was unremarkable. Thank you. Number 4, Parler's back. Kind of. Following the attack on the U.S. Capitol, Parler was pulled from Google and Apple app stores and effectively taken off the entire internet by Amazon Web Services. Why? Everyone says due to unmoderated posts threatening violence. Then in late January, the original CEO was fired, and then Parler is kind of showing signs of life. They announced a relaunch earlier this week with changes including to an interim new CEO, plans to moderate content, guidelines on the news site say Parler is going to use a mix of tech and human review to remove any threatening content or posts that can incite violence. So if you are a Parler member, you can go ahead and sign back on. It's only accessible if you had an existing account, even though your posts don't appear to be carried over to the news site. It's supposed to open up for everyone very shortly, but until then, it's a little bit like Twitter. Definite cap on the number of characters. And finally, number 5, TikTok is stuck on a 40-year-old report. It seems like a lot of TikTok users have collectively lost their minds over a declassified CIA report from the year 1983 dealing with something called the Gateway Experience. It's supposed to allow humans to transcend space and time. As one TikToker with 500,000 followers explains, it goes way beyond that. She says, where we go when we die, what consciousness really is, that our universe is a whole total hologram, and we can send telepathic messages. And of course, why not? Time travel. Now, if you look at the report yourself, it was authored by then Lieutenant Colonel in the U.S. Army who called the technique a training system. And he was trying to enhance strength and focus and coherence. By the way, it wasn't recently declassified. It happened in, about 18 years ago in 2003. The TikTok user who made it go viral said it probably wasn't popular then because it totally took a long time to read. Wow. I had a great joke to tell you about time travel, but you guys and gals didn't get it. And our T-Mobile Unlimited listener line is open at 1-888-825-5254. And let's get this hour started with Bonnie in Chicago, Illinois. Hello there, Bonnie.
Hi there. How are you, Kim?
Fantastic. So how can I help you?
So I was planning a trip to Costa Rica with my family, and I love to watch birds. So I was looking for a good pair of binoculars that would be good for critter and bird watching. But I also would like to see if there's one that I could take pictures and or moving pictures of and maybe possibly download them to my computer for saving
So
purposes.
have you ever been to Costa Rica?
Yes, a long time ago, but I'm anxious to go back.
Oh, it's such a beautiful country, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
it's
Sure is.
and it's a country that really they like Americans. It's like,
Yes.
wow, this
They're
is
very eco-friendly, so they have a lot
Yes.
of protected rainforest.
Yeah, and one of the things that I loved about Costa Rica, well, of course, the monkeys and all the wildlife when you're walking around, but how warm the ocean is. It's like 90 degrees, and I'm like, oh, this is so sweet. It's not like you get into on the East Coast or sometimes on the West Coast, you're like, this is too cold. I'm not even going to put my toe in. Okay, it's not even going
Right.
to happen.
Right.
All right.
I definitely like to look for critters, too, so anything that I can get on the camera.
Okay, well, here's the deal. There's a couple of ways that you can do it. And let's just talk about the different methods, okay? If you have just a standard pair of binoculars, there's a bracket that you can add to most binoculars, like if you already had a set, and then it holds your smartphone camera. And so if you think about it, the camera in your phone is pretty remarkable, isn't it? I mean, it's like 12 megapixel, maybe even higher.
Yes.
And so it gets some really great detailed shots. And then what's really fabulous that when you have it in your phone is that it can automatically be uploaded to the cloud, and then it's everything's there for social media sharing, or if you had a travel blog or whatever it may be, is that everything's in there. These
Right.
brackets are cheap. They're like $18-20.
Okay.
And then, as you said, you could take pictures or videos or whatever, anything else that you want. And as good as your zoom is on your phone, that's as good as the zoom will be when it goes through the binoculars, okay?
Really?
And so
Okay,
you see all
great.
that. So that's one way. Another way is for you to actually buy binoculars. I mean, binoculars that are made for bird watching. So instead of just having like binoculars that maybe you're like, oh, we use those every once in a while and we got them as a gift 20 years ago, is that when you look at binoculars, there are certain settings. Like they'll say like 8 by 42 or 10 by
Right.
44. Okay. So 8 by 42 is pretty much middle of the road. Anything lower than that you don't want to get. And you don't want to go like 12 or 14. You want to if you want to go to 10, that would be pretty good if you're going to be going and watching like birds flying in the air and you want to capture them. And so the binoculars, they're also so you can buy yourself a good set of binoculars that has the bracket built in for your phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And there's a company by the name of Gosky, Gosky, and I'll give you a link to all of these. Don't worry about it. And they're really relatively inexpensive. They're about $80, $85.
Okay.
And again, it gives you the ability to use your smartphone camera, which is pretty amazing. Now, if you really wanted to have binoculars with an LCD screen built in, and then you could take a video and you can, those are available as well. And they're about, say, $100 or so.
Okay.
So you have different options. It depends. I actually would, for me, I would probably prefer just using my phone because this way I have my phone on it. And
Right.
I can it just makes more sense. And the binoculars that you have with the cameras built in, they may only be 5 megapixel.
Okay.
And so if you wanted to expand them and get a nice picture out of it, that would be pretty tough. It reminds
Right.
me of a joke. The guy goes and he goes, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I went bird watching yesterday and I used so many bird calls. And the priest says, son, I don't know how you can say that was a sin. He said, but Father, I used foul language. Get it? Foul language? I'm sorry, Bonnie. Sorry about that. We try every little thing we can do. Stay right where you are. We're going to be talking about digital access as far as internet access, and come right back, how you can get the COVID vaccine and navigate the web here on the Kim Komando Show. A couple of things I want to pass along, and we've noticed that we've been getting a lot of email lately from people that are wanting to switch email accounts because you don't want to lose your old email. Maybe you're getting tired of big tech and you want to move on from Hotmail or Gmail or whatever. The basic steps are you set up a new account, you update your contact info, and you want to start with your bank, by the way. And then you let all your friends know that you've made the switch. And if you're sending a mass email, do everybody a favor and just blind carbon copy everyone using the BCC field. And then you import your old emails to the new account. You receive any that come to that address. We have all the steps outlined for you to transition to a new email account over at Komando.com, of course. And by the way, if you ever get an email with the subject, knock, knock, don't open it. It's a Jehovah's Witness working from home. All right, getting the vaccine should be an easy process. You go online, you answer a few questions, you pick a day, time, location. That's it. But the problem is that, let me tell you, these websites were just thrown together at the last minute. I heard that was the case in my home state of Arizona. It took them like a week. That's right. They knew it was coming, but they put it up within a week. It was hard to navigate, buggy, even for someone who's computer savvy. I mean, there was no way my mom, who was 82, could have gotten the appointment for the vaccine without me doing it for her. And she helped develop the Unix operating system, the first video phone, the 411 directory, if you remember that. So our nation's most vulnerable, the most needy of the vaccine, are being left out because these sites are horrible. Or maybe they just don't have internet access or a computer, or they just give up. And maybe they don't have kids to help them. I mean, my mother sat on hold for 4 hours waiting for someone to answer. And I said, Mom, just forget it. So when I read a story written by esteemed tech journalist Jeffrey Fowler in the Washington Post, tons of really wonderful, concrete advice, I knew you'd want to hear from him, too. And we're so lucky to have Jeffrey joining us on the Kim Komando Show special caller line. Jeffrey, getting a slot to get the vaccine is like trying to get a ticket for a concert that sold out months ago, it seems like. And I love that you wrote about all the different alerts that you can sign up for to know when appointments are available. Are these alerts really working?
Yeah, yes and no. So there's a lot of different kind of alerts out there. I mean, part of the core problem here, if we take a big step back, is that there's not just one vaccine appointment system in America. There's not even just one for every state. There's one also for states. There's one for counties. There's one for local hospitals. There's one for every pharmacy chain. And so part of the issue here is that you really have to have a lot of computer skills to just go and check in on all of these different sites, all of these different apps to see when they might get supply in and when there might be an appointment available near you. So some of them do have alerts you can sign up for, but some are more helpful than others. For example, in the state of California, where I live, you can sign up for an alert, but all they'll do is text you back whenever someone who fits your criteria is now available to get a shot, right? Like someone who's in their 40s or whatever. That's when they'll text you. It doesn't tell you when the pharmacy down the street has an opening and you should run over there and nab it. To get that kind of alert, some pharmacies are starting to build those out, but not all of them. The truth is, if you want to get a shot right now, you're going to have to be proactive in seeking out this information and finding out, where there's supply.
Yeah, and that's a big problem here in the state of Arizona. I was actually sent an email by the director of pharmacy for Bashas', which is a local food chain, right? And he has 40 pharmacies located throughout the state, as he explains in the email to me. Many of which in the Navajo Nation, which has been so hard by COVID.
Yeah.
Okay. And he was asking my help to wireframe a site. And I'm like, and he's getting the vaccines in 2 weeks. And I'm like, Don, his name's Don. I'm like, Don, there's just no way. So I figured out how to get our state to white label it for the pharmacies. So, a lot of people are just scrambling, I guess that's what I'm saying. They're just scrambling to get the information out there and to be able to do it. And so that's why the sites are really, I think, just so incredibly painful to use. One of the tricks that you gave out in your column, and thank you again for joining us, is that, not everyone is as quick as maybe you and me are with a mouse, right? And typing. Mm-hmm. And I loved the tip that you gave about having a Word doc and putting all your pertinent information in there, as well as the auto refill. Is that the extension for Chrome? It's auto refill, I think. Is that right?
Yeah. So it's so funny you point this out, because this is what I lived personally with my parents. They're in Massachusetts. They're in their late 70s. We were really trying to get the appointment for them. And so we kind of mastered the information side of it. Like my mom figured out, what site she needed to press reload on at a certain time to figure out when new slots became available. But where we kept failing is that when they would find appointments available, then they would start typing in their information again into the state website. And I would be on the line, but then would be like, go, 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 go. And they were still, they're like lovely people in their 70s, and they were just typing, and they were reading the letters aloud as they were saying. I was like, no, don't read it aloud. Just type. So what I figured out is, okay, let's just put all the information, since we know what it's going to be, because we've tried this before, probably 20 or 30 times, put it in a Word doc, put it in a spreadsheet, whatever, so you can at least copy paste it in when it's needed. Now, more techie people, some more advanced people might then even think about using an extension for Chrome or Firefox or whatever it might be that autofills that information. And those are the folks who are really going to nab those slots. It's basically the same skills that a set of people have developed to get concert tickets, or even PS5s when they went on sale and were so hard to get, right? It's like those kinds of digital shopping, extreme digital shopping skills, used to be just for sort of, fun, nice things to have, and now they're frankly a matter of life and death for people who want to get these appointments. Which,
leads us to the scams, right? There's one now circulating where it appears to be a gentleman from a major pharmaceutical company who is involved in the vaccines. And it looks pretty legit. It's even sent from Proton Mail. So they've moved on from Hotmail and Gmail. And he's asking for money for research. And so that this way, when they come out with the next vaccine, that you'll be able to share in the profits. Okay.
Oh.
I wonder if they're going to give us gift cards. I'm just wondering about that. What other type of scams have you seen out there?
Oh, you name it. Like this person can help you get a shot if your time isn't right yet, or if you show up at this place at this time. Things are coming in over text message, over email. Also it sort of morphs in the world of misinformation that's out there about, the vaccine's gonna, have microchips planted in it, or it's, the mark of the devil, or whatever it may be. And so normally when there's a situation like this, I would say to people, just don't believe anything you read on Facebook, because there's so little sort of vetting of the information there. But the thing that's tricky about this case is actually Facebook is turning out to be a fairly useful source of information about local vaccine supply. Other people who live in your area, have gone through this and might have some good advice. Oh, actually, they refresh the supply and the appointments at the CVS every day at 7 a.m. So if you go to this site, so you can get that sort of information there. I would just say, be very skeptical and maybe ask the person who provides the information how they knew that themselves. That's always the sort of the trick with all of this. Like, ask, how is this thing known? And if you get an email or you get a text that you weren't expecting, it could very well come from your doctor's office or hospital.
And that's the problem, right? Because you just might get that.
Back.
Yeah. One of the other things that... pick up the phone and ask him. But one of the things that I do want to pass along to everybody who's listening is that, just speaking of Facebook, Jeffrey, is that people are really excited that they have the vaccine. And so they're taking pictures of their CDC card and posting it online, which is like a really bad idea. Just a bad idea in general, because now those images are being circulating and then people are printing them on cards and they're selling them on eBay. So it's like, okay.
Gosh, yeah. Another thing we screwed up in this whole process is we don't have any good digital system to verify who has gotten the vaccine and not. No. And so, as we go forward, we're not going to really be able to develop trustworthy, vaccine passports, essentially. So, that was another missed opportunity for America. But I guess there's a long list of those on this topic.
There is. Hey, Jeffrey, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. Very, very helpful. That was Jeffrey Fowler from the Washington Post. We're going to do our digital life hack, and I am so excited to tell you about this digital life hack. And this week it's brought to you by StartMail. I don't trust big tech, and you shouldn't either. You've heard me say for years that free email services like Gmail or Yahoo, they're not really free. It's a big price to pay, and that's your privacy. These free email sites scan, analyze, and save details of every email that you send and receive. This lets big tech create a very intimate and detailed profile of you so that they can sell all of your data to the highest bidder. That's why I use StartMail. Mail. Start Mail was built from the ground up with privacy and security in mind. I send encrypted emails with just one click, even if the recipient doesn't use encryption. And Start Mail never scans or analyzes your email. And when you delete an email, it's gone forever. So dump the spy mail and get your own Start Mail account right now. Go to startmail.com/Kim, and you're going to get a 7-day free trial. And if you love knowing that big tech isn't reading your email like I do, you'll also get 50% off the first year. That's a deal. Go to startmail.com/Kim. That's start with the letter T. Don't trust big tech with your data and privacy. Go to startmail.com/Kim and sign up today. I am super excited to tell you about how I set up internet access from point A to point B, because I know this is going to help so many of you out there. Because if you have a she shed, a workspace, a greenhouse, or you're on a big piece of land and you're trying to get internet Wi-Fi from point A to point B, is that you're going to love this solution. And if you are watching the show as a Komando community member, we're going to be showing you some photos along the way too. So here's the deal. The problem is that I am building a house, and I wanted to put security cameras on the lot. But I'm so cheap, I didn't want to spend $80 a month for that. So I was telling my good friend Ryan about this, and he's like, Kim, not a problem. You can use mine. And I'm like, use your internet? He's like, yeah. Well, Ryan's house is about a third of the mile from this house. And so using the Ubiquiti Nano Beam, we got a strong pretty net signal from anywhere on the property. It's an extender, super strong extender. And if you have a clear line of sight, it can carry the signal for up to 6 miles, and it runs on 5 gigahertz frequencies. So it has a bridge to send the internet from one place to the other. Now, in this tip, we walk you through what exactly you need to make this happen as far as lock rings and metal straps, but you install the first unit where the internet connection comes from. In my case, that was Ryan's house. And then you put the second unit at the location where you want to receive the internet, which was on my property, on the edge of the property. And luckily, we have an uninterrupted line of sight between the two units. And I had that here on Camelback Mountain. You configure it using the app. And the pictures really show you exactly what's going on. And again, we have all the details written up over on the website. But these are some creative uses of a product that if you are trying to get the internet from point A to point B on your own property, it's really a good thing. And I also want to give a big thank you to Ryan, who helped make this tech tip possible. Ryan owns holidayrental.com. And seriously, the homes that he has for rent are just jaw-dropping. That home on Camelback Mountain is also for rent. And if you do check out holidayrental.com, if you mention my name, Kim, when you rent, you're going to get probably a decent bottle of wine for free. I mean, not a great bottle. Just kidding. That's holidayrental.com. And again, you can see all the pictures and learn more about how this magic happened over at Komando.com. Just hit the link that says Kim Show. Alrighty, well, still to come this hour, we have a trending scam we need to tell you about, how robocalls are just skyrocketing once more. I'm going to tell you how to stop it here on the Kim Komando Show. Kyle in Las Vegas, glad to have you on board with us. What's going on, Kyle?
Hello, Kim. I have been a listener since almost the beginning, if not the beginning, 23 years at least.
Oh, wow.
We had station Hot Talk, I think, that played, and KXNT is what you're on now. And a lot of the years I even listened to you on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, TuneIn.
You're right.
And so that station was KSYL.
Well, that's awesome. So, thank you, Kyle. So what's going on with you?
I'm not worthy. I should know better from listening to you. I work on the Las Vegas Strip, and I work at one of the resort hotels, and I work all day. And we're called chicken tender vendors for the most part. I sell burgers and beer for tips. But my nighttime job, I've been trying to be an affiliate marketer forever and a travel agent. So I'm an affiliate of a couple of travel agencies. And got all these credentials and over 600 suppliers and all of that.
Now, but Kyle, you sent me an email. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. And you sent me an email with your website. And yes. I looked at your website, and can I be honest with you? Brutally honest. Promise?
Yes.
Promise? You're not going to get mad? You're not going to hate me
I
forever.
love you.
All right, I love you too. You need to update your website. It looks a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, before you do anything else with this business, I want you to make that there's just too many boxes. I don't know where to look with all these videos. And you need to highlight destinations and focus on unique experiences in Mexico, Las Vegas. And when I was looking at that, then I also looked at your TripAdvisor. I went down the Kyle rabbit hole, okay? And I looked at your TripAdvisor, and I thought, you know what you'd be good at? You know what you'd be great at, Kyle? If you look at how people want experiences now, and I got to go really quickly because I'm going to hit a hard break, but come up with something unique that you can show people in Las Vegas. Maybe a historical tour of the casinos from a mobster's perspective, right? And I know, and then that's something that you can do. The affiliate stuff and the travel agency stuff, I think that's going to be a hard road for you to go down. But I think if you have all these credentials, you should do it. But I also think that you have a personality and you have an incredible smile, an incredible presence that you could do these tours for Las Vegas and then make money that way, maybe get 8 to 10 people together and walk them around or drive them around or meet them someplace. But I think that would be a nice niche for you. So give that some thought and give me a call back with your ideas, say in a week or so. And Kyle, thank you for your call. Coming right back, we got a scam alert to tell you about here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, thanks for watching a past episode of my national radio show. That's why it's called The Kim Komando Show Rewind. Now, to get the entire show, all 3 hours, when it airs live, or you can get on demand, head over to getkim.com and you can become a member of the Komando community. There are a ton of perks. Aside from just the show, you get free ebooks, a place to get answers to your tech questions, and more of me. So come on, what are you waiting for? Click that link right now and become a member. And thank you.